Okay, this video is for my grandma so she can see the house and the garden. We'll just walk around the house here and so the front of the house. This is a new addition. I picked up some landscaping ties from the hardware store and put this in a couple weekends ago. We're still working on it. Bearded irises in the back. Some petunia plants and a couple daylilies. Petunias in the hanging baskets on the deck. Corner of the house, we have a cedar tree. There's some bearded irises. I've transplanted them all over the property. They originally came from British Columbia. My neighbor gave me about 10 of them a number of years ago, and I keep propagating them, pulling the rhizomes apart, and they've really taken really well here. Here's a strawberry patch. I just put that in 2 weekends ago. A couple of tomato plants in the back. Had some extras. I needed a place to plop them in. This will take probably 2 years to get any berries off of them. Blueberry bush. Trying to get this one to go. It's a couple of years old and it hasn't really done much. Rhubarb is doing really well though. And we're coming around to the back of the yard. So this is the deck on the back of the house. Ivy vine growing up on the railing. More bearded irises. These haven't bloomed yet. These stay shaded most of the day, so they're a little late. More petunias. We love our petunias. They flower and they're pretty good with the temperature swings we have up here. That's a hosta. Some ferns in the front. In the back is called Snow in the Mountain. It's a nice border plant. Can take over really quick if you don't pull them out, and they spread pretty like weeds. So I've dug it down in front and put plastic around it to keep it from getting out of hand and growing where I don't want it. My woodshed. More petunias in the pots there. I think we're going to do kale in this planter this year, this box here that I made out of a water barrel. Growing tomato plants. And here is the hill. This was cut back with a tractor a number of years ago. My father-in-law had the property before we bought the house. And I didn't know what to do with it, so we put some underlay fabric down underneath, put mulch bark down, and then started planting. This spirea came from my neighbor next door. Got too big for her, so we transplanted it. Looked really good a number of years ago, but now I think it's been in here its 4th or 5th year, and it's starting to die back. I'm gonna have to cut it down and start over with it. These are Asiatic lilies. They're really beautiful, but they only have about a 2-week flowering and then they're done for the year, so they're short. This in the back is a purple phlox. We had some pretty good purple flowers, lasted almost a month. That was a really nice plant. Right in front here is another daylily. Last year I had 19 stems come out of the top of this thing, and it was taller than I was. and we'd have a new flower every day, and it lasted more than a month. It was pretty big. It looks like it's even bigger this year. That's a barberry bush in the back. And that is a stone crop. It's kind of like a big succulent. It's got the rubbery textured leaves on it. Yeah, it's like a succulent. It's called a stone crop. There is my hydrangea. I used to have that hydrangea over here, but it got too big, so I moved it over here. And ever since I moved it about 2 years ago, the flowers don't get very bushy. I don't get those big white hydrangea flowers on them. So I don't know if the transplanting hurted it, but its leaves are pretty healthy. I just don't get the flowers this like I've seen in other places. Okay, up the hill here. I tried to grow a hollyhock last year and didn't go so well. It grew, but it didn't flower. And I believe that's last year's delphinium I tried. Looks like it's coming back. Not sure what these are. My neighbor Kathy gave us those last year. Can't remember what those were. Got an herb growing there. I think it's thyme. Either basil or thyme, but it keeps coming back every year, and you can really smell the herb scent off of it. More bearded irises. Purple blooms on them. So up against the rock here, I put in a couple stepped flower beds. Those are bulbed flowers I got from Walmart, and I can't even pronounce the names of them. More of an experiment to see if they'd grow. They didn't grow last year, but they grew this year. It seems like everything only grows on the second year for me. I split a bunch of daylilies and moved them up here, so we'll get some orange flowers off of them this year. Here's where I set my telescope up, and I do my telescoping from there, and that is where I put my computer so I can control my telescope. You can see I put the the bricks down. We do have some wildflowers that grow here up against the pole. So those are buttercups, and the little blue ones in the back are forget-me-nots, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think those are forget-me-nots. Just coming back down here. My grass really took a beating back here this year. The ice and frost had a little bit of a lake back here for a number of weeks when it melted and the ground was still froze, so it really did a number on my lawn. Another hosta on the corner here. So this is our view when we sit at our deck. And wouldn't you believe it, we live in the middle of town. And that's it.